think it's a sort of well, I kind of just see it as a bit of fun. Like I the phrase "how hard can it be" is a phrase that I kind of often jokingly use whenever there's like something. So like the with the woodworking stuff, I'm like I kind of just want to build a coffee table, and I didn't know what I was doing or how. But it's like, first of all, how hard can it be, and also like how wrong can this meaningfully go? Like I'm just gonna, if I really do a terrible job, then I have a bad coffee table, or I just take it to the recycling or whatever. And so I try and approach life with as much of that attitude as possible. I guess the difficult thing is when is if it comes to like something, I don't know, maybe quite high risk, or like like a big investment or a big leap of faith or whatever. But it is sort of a case of going, well, how hard can it be, and then just going for it and seeing what happens. Because what is the worst that can happen, really?
The worst that could happen is that your old man ribs you relentlessly for the following 22 years about that time he bought you that guitar and you didn't turn into a rock star, and oh gosh and golly, and don't worry dad, I'm working on it. But the point I'm making with that is that for a creative, especially someone who doesn't have, I'm talking about me here for a second, something that immediately speaks to them, right? A lot of people give up, right? And I'm not saying that that's the case, but you've obviously dabbled in a lot of different things through curiosity. You had talent, so you were able to pursue it. My question there is, in terms of enjoyment factor, what do you derive from it these days compared to when you were younger? Obviously, the younger element, it's the learning, it's the, wow, everything's new and exciting. What about now?
Ooh, that's a good question. In terms of any one particular, as in terms of like music, or in terms of just creating in general?
Obviously music is an extension of that, but I obviously, being a creative person, I know that I got Canva recently and I got excited about the fact that it gives you a bunch of stuff that you can use just off the bat. And that doesn't matter that I'm 34 years old and it's a relatively benign tool, but it was an opportunity to explore and expand my creative base.
Yeah.
But it's still the learning part, it's still the growing part that excites me. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's basically it. I think the thing that allowed me, when I was first like doing music and learning to produce when I was like 14, 15, was the fact that like Logic Pro and all of the instruments and whatever were all like completely brand new. So it was kind of like having a massive sandbox full of toys, and you don't know, you press all of these buttons and you don't know what's going to happen. And kind of starting from that really, really like naive place is very exciting, because it means you can just go with your intuition and kind of see what happens. And I think now that I'm more experienced in terms of music production and stuff, I think it's a little bit harder to harness that like more naive kind of playful energy, because you kind of default to like, well, I know what this software does and I know what and you kind of need to channel a little bit of that, like, I'm 14 and I'm just finding out what this does. But I think that's why, part of the reason why I love picking up a random new hobby like buying a woodworking lathe, because I don't have the burden of knowing what I'm doing. I just can like grab a chisel and a bit of wood and go, well, let me just see what happens. And I think that kind of then recaptures, I think, some of that energy that is really helpful when you're trying to kind of be creative and unlock that part of your brain.